I have tried to find out the background of the situation today and whether the neighboring states have a right on the Macedonian name from the Greek side, on the Macedonian language from the Bulgarian side, and on the Macedonian territory. And I found out that there is no legitimate right for Greece, of course, as you know. So it's nothing new for you. But it is important to convince them that they do not have any right. It is more important to convince the European Commission, NATO, Mr. Schäfer, who thinks that it is enough to be member in NATO and then say the others are wrong. Only because they are not members, they are regarded as wrong. What is this kind of negotiation? So, to find out the truth in history was maybe not easy. It took time, it costs time and money and nerves and work, but it was feasible. But to convince the opponents of the real background, that is the question. Yeah. And that is the task of politicians.
Do you think it will have some result regarding their policy? I'm
a born pessimist, but one must not lose his conviction that justice may prevail. A peace without... I read this recently. Peace without justice is unbearable, does not exist.
It's not peace.
Yeah, it is not peace. So how can the neighbors believe that there will be peace on the Balkans if they realize their unjustified goals? If they were justified, okay, even if it is to the negative consequence for Macedonia. But it is not. They are not correct.
Arguments at all.
Yeah, they are not right. If they had the right on their side, sorry for Macedonia. But they have not. So it is a matter to convince them, or especially the United Nations and the European Commission. That's why I think that the campaign of Prime Minister Gruevski is very correct, and in time, before one has tried to do it on another way, but now it was time to bring things on the level of international public.
Yes, yes.
And to oblige Prime Minister Karamanlis to reply.
Yes. How
And
would you comment on his letter?
What do?
On the answer.
How could he permit himself to pretend that there is no Macedonian minority in Greece? That is impossible. That is a scandal.
They exist.
They exist. And you know, the problem is that everybody in the European Commission and in the administration of the United Nations, they know that this minority exists. But they don't oblige Greece to accept that. And if this is the case, that even such international organizations that represent our values of truth and right, if they accept that Greece is gambling with them and with you, or with you and with them, then there must be bigger interests behind.
I wonder what are those?
I think, according to my results, these are the interests of the former members of the Entente Cordiale from 1904, France and Britain, and in 1907 another country joined, was Russia. Today Russia is generous. I think they have made so many losses what concerns Macedonia is for them not very interesting. I think they should help you. They are strong enough to help you, but to get some help from Britain and France will be very difficult. If they will be ready to explain why they supported Serbia, Greece, and Montenegro and Bulgaria in 1912-13 to swallow Thracia, Epirus, and Macedonia, then there will be progress. Because this is history, this is fact. Yes, nobody can live and exist without history. And as soon as this question is solved or is accepted at first by the international organizations themselves, they must stop the principle who has the power is right. That's not correct. No. So the double standard policy is what is so dangerous for Macedonia.
Yes. And the last question, where do you see Macedonia in, let's say, 5 years from now?
I think Macedonia would survive, even without membership. You know, do you remember what happened to Serbia? The Serbians one day said, okay, if they don't want us, we stay away. What did they do? They started to ask them, why don't you come? We should negotiate. And they made offers. And in spite of not having Karadzic yet, and they don't have Mladic yet, they do as if they want to integrate. Because the Serbians said, no, if you don't like, then we don't like either. So you will exist even without membership. But if you give in and renounce on your name and tell the Bulgarians, yes, you are Bulgarians, although this is an anachronism. The Bulgarians came later than you to the Balkans. They were assimilated by the Slavs. They accepted the Slav language. They speak your language, not you theirs. It is only called Bulgarian because they managed somehow to call their country still Bulgaria and the language Bulgarian, and now they think they can pretend that Macedonian is Bulgarian. It's anachronism. It's a game. They try to realize what they had for dreams of Velika Bulgaria, you know, Velika Megali Grecia, and Megali Serbia, and Megali Germania. I know, all the same. Megali Britannia, still today, Megali Britannia.
Yes.
Great Britain.
Yes.
Nobody cares. In my little town in Bonn, where we go very often into an Italian restaurant. Grand Italia. Crazy. But that's the case. Everybody wants to be great.
Yes.
If possible, super. And we have paid for that. Let the others pay too. They should renounce on becoming and wanting to be great. They should be satisfied with that, what they have, instead of blaming and nagging other people and try to steal their rights. They would steal your identity.
That's the point.
Yes. And you shouldn't give in.